Hi, HRN listeners. We're celebrating our 15th anniversary, and we have a really fun campaign and an ask for you. This 15th anniversary tour is aiming to bring you closer to unique food and music experiences in some of the most exciting cities in America. All the while, we're raising funds to support our work empowering the next generation of food systems storytellers through our fellowship programs. Here's how it works. Donate to HRN and be entered into a raffle in the city of your choice to win a dinner for two at a noteworthy restaurant and tickets for two to a concert at a prominent local venue. We have incredible partners in New York, Los Angeles, Philadelphia, Nashville, Las Vegas, Charleston, Asheville, and Ardmore, Pennsylvania, who have donated a meal for two and two tickets to a concert of the winner's choice. And all donations help fund our fellowship programs, where we're helping to build essential workforce readiness skills and food system storytelling skills. Check out heritageradionetwork.org/15 to donate and enter to win today. That's heritageradionetwork.org/15. Thank you.
You're listening to Heritage Radio Network. HRN is food and beverage radio supported by you. Learn more at heritageradionetwork.org.
So you don't shun the devil with your rock and roll load. Knows that country music's gonna save your soul. The devil runs his groove in them rhythm and blues that sound. It's gonna get you sun in the air.
Welcome back to the Speakeasy. I'm Damon Boelte.
I'm Sother Teague.
And I'm Greg Benson.
Boys are back.
Welcome back, everybody.
Thanks.
Yeah, 2-week break. I didn't do anything. Greg, did you do anything?
I did a couple things. I mean, a lot of booze news happened when we were gone. Tip creep, according to the Wall Street Journal, is apparently showing up at self-checkout screens. Sunny D launched a sparkling vodka brand. Yes. The New York Times ran a couple of really gross-looking mint juleps in their food section for the Kentucky Derby. But I think the big thing that we need to do is the what I did on my spring break show and tell is hear about Damon, because apparently while some of us were holding down the fort over here, you were on a pretty epic trip.
Yeah, I was on my honeymoon.
Hell yeah.
It was almost 2.5 weeks. Pretty awesome. Just lots of food and drinking as to be expected, and just in different places, you know. Started off, my band played the Lone Wolf Coyotes. We played the Stagecoach Festival down in Joshua Tree. So
you
Jamie
took the band on the honeymoon is what I'm getting here?
Well, okay, so that
it's
was
kind of a group wedding sort of situation. It's not a cult, Sother. It's totally different from that.
Okay. Yeah, it's totally different.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there were few sacrifices, but but not human or animal otherwise, just time. Anyway, we went down and played a show. So Jamie and I went down to Palm Springs on the Friday night. We stayed in Joshua Tree for Saturday, Sunday. The band played on Sunday. Then we actually started our honeymoon. So we flew to Zurich for one night only. There's a great bar in Zurich called Old Crow. They call it Old Crow. It's cute, but it's a really, really amazing bar. It reminded me a lot of Amorio Margo, except all spirits, and a lot of vintage stuff there as well. I took some videos and photos. I'll send those over to you. But it was really cool. I want to spend more time in Switzerland. It was actually a long layover on our way to Santorini, Greece. We were there for 3 nights. It was a little windy, a little rainy, but it was really beautiful and relaxing. We were super jet lagged at that point, so we just kind of hung out, and then we went to Florence for 3 nights. Florence is my favorite city. As I was saying before the honeymoon, my favorite city so far, and it remains my favorite city. Jamie had never been. It's her favorite city now as well. It's one of those places where, first of all, great cocktail bars and restaurants, but it's, as far as the art, museum, and Renaissance, it's great. But there's also, I don't know, I've never gone to a city where I just immediately have felt, I've been there several times. I've never gone to a city where I feel so comfortable immediately when I land there. And that's unique for a foreign country, Sure. But then there's also a Gucci restaurant and a Gucci bar, and it was right next to our apartment. So we were spending a lot of time there. Anyway, then we left there and went to San Sebastian, Spain.
One of my favorite cities in the world.
Yeah, it took us a minute to figure out the kind of flow of going into the tapas bars and ordering pinchos, because people are pretty ruthless there. You got
They
to
are.
it's almost like
It's like a
it
Black
reminded me.
Friday sale.
Yeah, exactly. It's like kind of
Gotta
reminded me of
grab.
like getting on the subway. It was like it's like there's a line here. People are waiting to get in, but people just like kind of like edge your way in. So once we figured out the kind of flow, it was great. And we went to Arzak. I will say that was a great experience. I got to meet the 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 mom, the dad and daughter duo. Got a picture with them as well, so send that to you as well. But then, you know, Arzak was great, but Bar Nestor, man, Jesus Christ,
That's the thing, right?
didn't get the tortilla,
Oh.
but that's okay because we got the steak, and that's probably one of the best steaks I've ever had in my life. I mean,
Yeah.
it's definitely top 3.
Yeah, gorgeous. The marbling, the sort of yellow colored fat, like just
Right.
Unbelievable.
Gold. It's like goldenrod.
Yes.
And it's on a sizzling platter, so you can kind of continue cooking it if you just turn it on it each slice. And it's what a cool thing. And you're standing there. Yeah. Remember when like prime meats back in the day before we had bar stools?
That's it.
You would stand and eat you would order Côte de Boeuf by the ounce, and you'd order like 200 ounces of Côte de Boeuf and just stand and eat steak. And it was the greatest experience. And that Bar Nestor is now, up there with that. They're together, pretty much on the same level. But
I'm really glad. I'm really glad you went. That's easily kind of my favorite experience in what is probably my favorite city.
And we went more than once.
Nice.
We probably went like 3 or 4 times, but we went to Gambara, which is one of Bourdain's favorite places. But they also have here's a little pro tip: if you're in San Sebastian, Gambara can get a lot of long lines, long waits, but just a block away there's another spot called Tamboril, and that's actually owned by Gambara. It's all the same food, but without the crowd. So pro tip for you. And then also there's one cocktail bar in all of Old Town San Sebastian that we found. It's called Aran, Arraun, and it was an incredible place. Reminded me a lot of Death and Company, with the back bar that's like really tall and almost like a cliffside, like the way the bottles kind of cascade. It was a lot like that, and it's just like half a block from our hotel, and really incredible. But I think the thing to me about all of this, the reason why I even bring up any of this stuff, I mean, it was our honeymoon. We didn't do a lot of touristy stuff. We just ate and drank our way through all of these countries, and that's great. I feel like people who listen to the show understand that, but that's the best way to get into a culture is by their food. So just eat your way through wherever you are, and
I totally agree. And I think the way to understand a culture is definitely through its food. And now with the innovative bars that are out there that are doing things like taking food and making it into drinks, like they do at Double Chicken Please. How about that segue, boys?
Yeah, that was good. I was setting you up, man.
Thanks, buddy. Teed it up. So today on the show, we're very excited to have number 1 on the 50 best North American bars list, Double Chicken Please's Jian Chan and Fei Chin. Welcome to the Speakeasy, guys.
Hello.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, so
Absolutely.
Excited to have you on and talk about the program that you operate over there at Double Chicken Please right here in New York City. And again, I'm sure you're still glowing from the high of your recent number 1 position at 50 Best North America, which was just held in Mexico a couple weeks ago. How was that trip for you guys?
That trip
was
was definitely definitely an amazing trip. Like we didn't really prepare ourselves to be, receive this award, this high ranking. We just thought we go to this little town and then it seems so pretty. We want to have some tacos and some, street food or something, some little parties. That's, how we head into the city. But then it turns out it was a very magical experience when we received the number 1 rankings, and then we saw these 2 giant big, I think it's Mexican, like a traditional, really big doll that they mimic me and Jian's face on a really
Oh
huge
yeah.
doll. Yeah, in the party, I don't know if you guys saw the picture. That was the craziest thing I ever seen in my life. Yeah, so overall, it was a really magical and very excited trip.
Did you
Yeah,
know they
because
were going to make those dolls, or did you kind of come in and just look at them and be like, that one looks kind of familiar?
No, we definitely don't. Just like I walk into the crowd and I was like, wait a minute, that looks like Jian, because Jian's very easy to recognize. The hair, He
yeah,
has
the
the
hair,
hair and then the beard and everything. And I was like, that looks kind of like you. But the other one is a girl and with long hair. I do have a long hair, but now I dye my hair, so it's not a black hair. Anyways, yeah, I was just like, I'm not sure about that one, but the other one's definitely Jian. Yeah.
Right, because
Yeah.
I've been on the 50 best list myself for Maury Margot in the past, and you get told you're on the list, but they don't tell you where until the ceremony. So how were you feeling when it got down to like 25 and they hadn't called your name yet, or 15 or 10, like just building, right?
Yeah, I mean, last year we were ranking number 17. So this year honestly, me and Faye was like, is there any improvement? That'll be great. Even drop it is fine. We just do our best and then just ride and grind every day, do whatever we believe. Because honestly, we are a very young team. We only open for 2.5 years, and a lot of people with us has been 2 years, and then a lot of people with us is actually this is their first hospitality job, because when we opened in the middle of COVID, a lot of people switching their job, so they joined Double Chicken Please as their first hospitality job. So it's a really green, really young team. We also just feel like, let's just do our best and then do whatever we believe and then what we want to offer to all the audience, all the people who come in Double Chicken Please. So to receive all this ranking recognition, we are really thankful and grateful to have this opportunity. But on the other hand, we also like, wow, this is so fast. Like we need to make sure everybody is keep their head down, humble, and really like know there's still a long way to go, to really know there's still a lot of work we need to do and need to keep polishing, not just to live on this ranking, but also embrace it, but also share the joy with everybody in the industry. And hopefully we can make a little bit positive energy to everybody who supported us.
That's great. I mean, you guys did your first several months were during the part of COVID where it was lockdown. There was no indoor service at all, right? You started with no guests inside.
Exactly. Basically the first 6 months, it was very tough. There's almost no revenue for a long time.
Yeah, a really difficult way to begin. And what you said there about your team being green and their first experience with hospitality, talk a little bit about that. Is that you find that to be advantageous? Like you're not having to rip out any bad wiring and rewire someone. You can wire them the way you want from the beginning, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think it's yes and no. I mean, I think of course without hospitality experience, sometimes people tend to don't know really how to gauge what's hospitality. How to be hospitable, and certain language we want to use in the restaurant, in the bar. They take a little bit time to pick it up, but once they pick it up, I think it's great, because they don't have that much bad habit. They just like stick with the thing we think that will work, and just keep encouraging them to keep polishing it and try to find their own way to express themselves. So overall, I think it's great. It takes a little bit more time. Also, we have a really diverse team. We have 27 people, all from different, we have, I think, 7 or 8 different nationality, 5 or 6 different languages. So it's a very diverse team. So sometimes we also find it's not the easiest way to run a team, and a lot of things, because everybody interpret it different way. So we need a lot of communication, a lot of team building to make sure everybody is aligned with all the stuff we do. So it takes time, but I'm grateful to have this opportunity. I'm happy with it.
Yeah, it sounds like you're almost, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like the strategy is almost prioritize people who seem like they really care a lot about hospitality and the guest experience and are really enthusiastic about what you're trying to build over someone who comes in and is like, I won, best Ramos at this competition at this place at one time, and like, I can quadruple stir and all this stuff. Like, it seems like you're almost prioritizing people who are who have that passion and that enthusiasm over people who come in and are, have a 3-page CV of like all of the, like, these are all the drinks I can make,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Faye, do you want
I
to
think
talk about?
we are both working in this industry for a very long time, and then this is the first place that me and Jen actually work together, but we collecting all our experience from before. We kind of know that, okay, what kind of people that we're looking for is someone who will, share the same value as us, because I deeply believe that skill is something that you can learn, you can practice, you can always get more. But that kind of synergy between us and them, everybody, between this brand and all our coworkers, it's something that hard to build. It will be harder than building a new skill, so like that's what we believe. So we only, for example, like we only hire full-time. It's not a very easy thing to happen in New York City, because everyone's kind of have like 2 or 3 jobs, like 2 days here, 3 days there, but for us, it's like, if it's not full-time, it's really hard for us to do the training in our own way, in our timeline, stuff like that. Yeah, so that's why it gets a little harder on our end, but we still believe this will work one day.
Well, talk to me a little bit about, because you were saying that this is the first time that the two of you have actually collaborated on a project. I'd love to hear sort of your origin story, your Genesis creation myth of how the two of you got together and dreamed up this concept.
Yeah, it wasn't an easy journey. I'll be honest. It wasn't an easy journey. We almost killed each other many times. But it's
In there.
yeah, we know each other for quite a while, for like 12 years. And the first bar in Taiwan I work, that was because Faye was moving up to another bar, so I joined the bar. I have no experience, but we got to know each other, and since then we become friends. I would always talk about our dream cocktail culture, about the cocktail we want to make. At the beginning, we're just 2 bartenders that are really eager to make a good drink and have fun with guests. That's just when we are young. That's just the only thing we care. But all the way till today, I think a lot of things become, how can we pass down the experience? How can we, keep polishing and keep forming a team together? And Faye's way and my way, because we are 2 different persons too. We share similar background from Taiwan, but we also have very different kind of way to do things. We also have different forte. Like I studied design. I come from a performing like magician background, so I'm more like, I like to show. I like to give people a show. I like to like really kind with people. Really like give people chances, and then a lot of things is slightly different from how Faye grew up. She's a little bit more sharp, more direct, and she's a little bit more organized, way more organized than me. So we have a different strength. So we try to utilize that as well when we are managing a team, or when even we are reaching out to the world, to the brand, or to any opportunity, because we have different strength. So we utilize our time differently on different projects, just to more efficiently to make things happen. So for example, most of the thing, if it's tour, no matter is to different country, to different opportunity, usually I take care of the conversation at the beginning. But is everything that goes back in Double Chicken Please relate to operation, relate to like strategy, that leave it to Faye. And we all discuss that every single day, and then we make sure we all on the same page, and then make sure this is the way we want to try for now. We stay flexible. I mean, at the beginning, we were not flexible. When business is not making any money, when you don't see the future, there's no flexibility. Everybody just stick with their own way because that's the only thing it will make it work. But at least now the team and the business is slightly better and it's more stable. So we are more flexible now too. But I think that just naturally comes to this this stage that we believe each other more, and then we also believe in our team more, and we give more flexibility, and then try to see what works, what doesn't, and a lot of try and error. Yeah, basically.
That's
Yeah.
you got to learn from your mistakes, and that's I know that Sother's talked about that a lot, about like, because he opens up a new bar every week, and so he's like, you got to try it all, but it's every moment's a lesson, whether it's good or bad. So like, it's good that you are paying attention to that,
Yeah, and being, absolutely, and being flexible. I always say, plan your work, work your plan, be flexible. I want to. We need to take a quick break and hear from our sponsors, but I want to come back and hear a little bit about how the both of you were winners of Bacardi Legacy at some point, correct? And how that ties in. And then I think Damon probably really wants to know about how Double Chicken Please considers itself a design studio that intermeshes with F&B and hospitality. So let's come back and keep talking to Jian Chan and Fei Chen from Double Chicken Please, #1 on 50 Best North America. Stay tuned.
This episode is supported by HRN business member Food Karma Projects, dedicated to community building by creating unique food events that showcase the best local food, chefs, beer, and wine. Get fired up for the return of Rib King NYC for a full day of delicious fun at the ultimate Memorial Day barbecue and live music event, featuring 2 sets of jammed out funk and blues mashups. It all takes place on Saturday, May 27th at Industry City in Brooklyn, New York. To purchase tickets or for more information, visit ribkingnyc.com. Food Karma Project supports HRN's creative, educational reporting and storytelling that drives conversations to make the world a better, fairer, more delicious place.
Every glass of wine tells a story. And these stories reveal hidden histories, flavors, passions, and sometimes they unravel our darkest desires. In Wine Enthusiast's newest podcast, Vinfamous, journalist Ashley Smith dissects the underbelly of the wine world. We hear from the people who know what it means when the product of love and care becomes the source of greed, arson, even murder. Each episode takes listeners into the mysterious and historic world of winemaking and the crimes that have since become, well, Vinfamous. This podcast pairs well with wine lovers, history nerds, and crime junkies. So grab a glass of your favorite and follow the podcast to join as we delve into the twists and turns behind the all-time most shocking wine crimes. Follow Vinfamous on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen, and be sure to follow the show so you never miss a scandal. New episodes drop every other Wednesday. Cheers.
And we're back. You're listening to The Speakeasy on Heritage Radio Network, and we've been talking with the team from Double Chicken Please. And so I haven't been there yet. Yeah, I know. When I get back to New York next time, I will definitely. It's high up on my list. It was high up on my list before it was
number one.
Yeah. So now I'm glad.
On the list.
now that we know each other, at least I'll have a chance of getting in. I'll give you plenty of notice. But you mentioned before that in some of our notes, you mentioned that it's a design studio. So I have a degree in design, and can you kind of expand on that? What do you mean by that? The design studio is a bar.
So I studied industrial design back in Taiwan when I was in college. And in college, I met my best friend. His nickname is Turkey. And my nickname in Taiwan, everybody call each other nickname. Like Fei is Fei's nickname. It's not his real name, but we call everybody nicknames for some reason. So GN is my nickname too. And it's actually stands for something like chicken fillet in Mandarin. So me and Turkey, we both are chicken-ish. That's why before we graduate, I thought we're going to open a design studio together. So I named it Double Chicken Please. So that's the name for the design studio originally, which didn't happen 15 years ago. When I moved to New York, start with bartending and all this, when I was thinking to open the place, I still want to bring this name back, because for me, everything starts with design. And
sure.
So I named Double Chicken Please. So I designed the interior and the cocktail. If you see our logo, our symbol is a cocktail spoon, and there's a cocktail glass. It means cocktail. In the middle, there's a screwdriver and a pencil. That means design. So it's design and cocktail. And then Turkey designed all the graphic, all the painting, everything in the place. So he still work with us as an in-house designer to do all this art and design. And that's also our future plan. We have a lot of design and art stuff coming up soon in the collaboration. So yeah, we still want to run this place as a design studio, but we start with food and beverage. You know, most of in this world, how this world works, most likely is you get into film or music industry, and then you pivot back to do clothing or apparel, and then you come back in to do hospitality. But we are starting with hospitality, and we want to explore more. So it's a little different route, but we're just trying our best to see if that works.
That's very cool. I love it. You also mentioned something about being a magician. I also dabble in magic. I can make drinks disappear. So, how? Tell us about that.
Well, I think magician is something I love. It's something you love to give people a surprise in a way. You love to showcase what you have been practicing about. It's a showmanship, and I think that can really apply to bartender, especially in the U.S. Because in the U.S. we all know we have tip system. So in a way, compared to Asia, compared to Europe, in the US, I think bartender is more like an entertainer. You really need to entertain your guests. You need to interact with your guests, no matter it's the language you use, no matter it's the showmanship you show them. So it's actually really exciting and really fun. I think that's just one of the big things why I so in love with bartending, because I just love serving people. Not necessarily a trick. I don't necessarily think a trick is necessary anymore. It's more like the experience you give it to them, and the product you give it to them. You serve them to custom the thing for people, to make them feel special, to make them feel their time is worthy and they have a memorable experience. I think that's pretty much it.
Very cool. So I also have another magic trick. I can Irish goodbye pretty good as well. I can make myself disappear.
You make yourself disappear.
Hopefully not without paying the tab. But I love that because it's performance is what you're saying.
Yeah.
I definitely know that we talk about this a lot. Like when you're behind the bar, you're kind of on stage, right? Mm-hmm. And that's it's the whole experience really is what it all comes down to. We're providing an experience. Customers can go anywhere and they can go to the bodega on the corner and buy a 6-pack of beer or a bottle of wine or whatever it is that they're take it back home and drink for a lot less money than they would going to any of our bars. But it's all about the experience. What you're paying for really is the experience. Mm-hmm. And so it's like you have to. It's important to always remember that it's it's bigger than just what's in the glass,
For sure.
Faye, do you think that maybe the design of the cocktails, which are mostly inspired, is it mostly or is it all inspired by food? Do you think that maybe plays into this sort of magic thing? And both of you were in Bacardi Legacy, both of you were winners in that, I believe. Did you use any of those kind of things when you were competing? I feel like I've been to Double Chicken Please now twice, and I feel like the drinks are a little bit of a magic trick, right? You get it in your hand, and it looks like one thing, and it tastes like another.
Yeah, I compete Bacardi Legacy year before GN. I was 2015, and GN was 2016. Mm-hmm. So when I competed Legacy, my drink was not exactly what DCP's concept right now, especially the Double Chicken Please back room, which we call it the coupe. Mine is a little more like the front room concept, if I would say. We're still utilizing a little bit of ideas from that drink into our one of our tap tail right now. Yeah, so, but definitely I would say the concept based on fruit inspiring. So we kind of like deconstructing all the dishes and put it back into a drink form. That's definitely a one way of showcasing our design. Yeah, but that's not the only way how we make drinks, how we do drinks, how we think about cocktails. There's a lot of different way, but we definitely wanted to utilize that as our design background to show, hey, the drink could be designed in this way, in that way. I can put a French toast into liquid. I can put a red eye gravy into liquid. Stuff like that.
Yeah. Can you talk about maybe a specific drink on the menu that you're kind of the most proud of, or one that's maybe pretty popular, or even the opposite, one that maybe isn't as popular as you wish it was, and you wish your audience would snap into it?
I think my favorite one on the menu right now is definitely the one called cold pizza.
Cold pizza.
I'm
yeah.
not very a big pizza eater. I can't say that because since here's New York, everybody's gonna
you
hate me.
live in New
It's gonna be like, you're
Yeah.
not New Yorker, you don't eat pizza. But like, I'm sorry, I'm still trying it. I do like pizza once in a while, but just not every day.
I'm not like a big pizza eater by New York standards. I only have it like once a week. It's practically like that's like the Des Moines equivalent of having it once a year, basically.
Oh, Des Moines.
Yeah, but I definitely love that drink.
So yeah, talk about its construction and its presentation. Paint a picture for the audience to hear.
Yeah, like when you at night and you don't want to go to a pizza shop, you're so lazy, and then you order like the delivery, and then they only deliver you the whole pie. So obviously I can't finish the whole pie, right? Yeah, so I had like a couple times
Sure.
experience. It's just like, I got home, I'm a little drunk, I'm so hungry, there's nothing to eat. I ordered a pie of pizza. I was like, okay, let me try some pizza. And I take 2 bites and I pass out, and then it end up on my counter, and then you wake up the next day and that is a pie of cold pizza, right? And you're still hungry, right. So you're just like, but you're like rushing to work, gotta prepare. Of course, you gotta make yourself a cup of coffee, but then okay, let me just take a couple bite of this pizza from last night. Yeah, so that's pretty much the idea of the cold pizza. And then we use tequila as base, then we infuse with cheese in the tequila, and also some of the burnt toast. We literally burn the toast in the oven, make it to kind of semi-burn, not real burn-ish. And then we infuse all of that together. And then we make Thai basil and lime into a cordial. So we have Thai basil lime cordial. Yeah, and then we mix with fresh tomato water and a little touch of egg white. Yeah, that's how the drink was made.
I relate to this drink so heavily. Like this is perfect for me. And okay, so I have to say, like, more cheese cocktails, please. Okay, like seriously, because I had a blue cheese cocktail. I mean, like, we know like blue cheese stuffed olives, but this was like a straight up blue cheese cocktail in San Sebastian, and I was like, man, not enough cheese cocktails. So yeah, this is great. I'm all about this cocktail for so many reasons. And I was just looking around your cocktail menu before the show, and I saw that one, and I was like, I'm glad you asked about it, Sother.
Yeah,
because it's really cool. But also
because I think it's fascinating, and I think that until you're at the door at Double Chicken Please, it's hard to get an idea of what's going on in there. So I'm glad to have you guys on and talking about it to our audience that maybe doesn't have a chance to come to New York.
Yeah. I think one thing in the school, what I learned from design is like how you make people to relate themselves to your product. And I think that's a big thing we try to implement in Double Chicken Please. The thing we do, the product we offer, or everything we do, we try to have a way for people to relate to it, their personal experience. For example, the menu in the back, in the coupe, is more like food inspired. Is because nothing tastes better than nostalgia. So if you have kind of memory relate to all these food items, you might have a taste in your mouth before you even order it. It's just like you think you can relate, what you're gonna expect for, and then when you get it, it's in a different form. It's still surprising in a way, and no matter you like the flavor or not, but this is something we try to make people also remember what they have drink. Easy to associate, to remember. So it's also a strategy to do. For example, a lot of our drinks have a graphic on it. No matter it's a pizza drink, on top have a small hand holding a slice of pizza, which is like a sticky rice paper, something like that. So we apply a lot of graphic in our drink. That's also a trick for people to remember in a different, not just the flavor, but also graphic, also visual. So to complete the whole experience, to relate to people.
I always say that with drinks, when it comes to food and beverage, you can smell the food before you see it, right? So like your first sense you're using is olfactory, but with drinks, most of the time it's visual first. So you should always make sure that your drinks look amazing and memorable. I like the classic section on your cocktail menu too, because there's some, you've got an Aviation, a Sazerac, and a Moscow Mule, and you leave that name as it is, but there are obvious riffs. For instance, the Aviation has gin and maraschino, lemon, and creme de violette, but there's also clarified milk. But you could have just named that something else new, but I like that you kind of like, you're kind of playing with the idea of what this classic is, just kind of tweaking it and then kind of leave that name. But then, the Moscow Mule that you make is with, Moscow Mule is vodka and ginger beer, right? But you did something really cool with this, and it reminds me of a dish I make at home with eggplant. I always do a honey, miso, and ginger glaze on the eggplant. And so in this Moscow Mule, I'm like, this is like, for once, I want to order a vodka drink, which is rare for me. But it's Grey Goose, honey, miso, and ginger beer. That's brilliant. Like, what a cool way of thinking about that ginger component and taking it completely to another place. So I love that. It's just really cool. It's fun. It's playful. The Dirty Margarita, you've Italicus, which is one of my favorite spirits out there. For jus and shiso and olive, like in a margarita, it's cool, very cool.
Thank you.
So it's just like a lot of playfulness, but also it's just I can't wait to go there. I'm sorry, I'm the only one that hasn't been.
No worries at all.
But then one more thing is like you have a house shot, which is the DCP house shot, which is mezcal with plum and shiso. I mean, I think. Like my bar has the hard start. It's Fernet Branca and Branca Menta, and like it's kind of gone out beyond the bar and served in a bunch of other places. And like I love the idea of having a house shot because it kind of brings the fun back into the cocktail bar that has for many years been kind of like a sometimes stuffy and too serious at times. But bringing a house shot into like a classy cocktail bar is like, I think everyone should have a house shot. I mean, that should be the first thing you have when you walk in and the last thing before you walk out. So yeah, very cool stuff here. Can you talk to us about, I know we've talked about the coupe a lot, but I want to talk about the front room because it's more of this is kind of like when you first walk in, it's a little bit more casual, right? And you have a lot of draft cocktails, correct?
Yes.
Or all draft cocktails.
Yes. Yeah. So the whole place actually is also pay a homage when you're in Taiwan. When we are young, there's a bubble tea shop. And behind the bubble tea shop is a design studio. So the whole place is a little bit paying the homage of that place because Faye and me, we grew up in Taiwan. We are basically drinking bubble tea, grow up. So for us, the tap cocktail concept is a little bit similar to a bubble tea shop, but in a different way. So the ingredients we use, the way we make the drinks is we try to keep it simple, but still have character inside. But something's on the lower ABV side, something easygoing, something mostly are highball, basically highball format, depends on what kind of, it's carbonation or it's nitro, but overall it's a highball format. So the whole overall vibe is more young, fast, and just really vivid, just very energetic. That's the vibe we want to give people, to have a contrast to the background as well. But I personally, I do really like the draft tail. When we opened in the middle of COVID, people ask us, say, did you guys design this for COVID? Because it's really clean. You don't touch anything, you don't touch garnish, there's nothing, and you just hand out a drink. And people enjoy it that way. We were kind of surprised, but we said, yeah, that works. But
Yeah.
I mean, we
Yeah, of
just
course
really
we designed
like
it that way.
It wasn't our intention, but I love how people just like associate with that, and we said, well, that actually makes sense, and we're glad we do it that way. Also, the tap drink, it just I like the simplicity of it. It's just simple, but not we didn't cut any corner. The flavor and the ingredient is also something we really put our heart and soul to develop. It's not easier than develop the drink in the background. It's pretty much equal. Uh, but the way we do it and the way we present it, we try to make it as simple as possible. I just want to make everybody feel comfortable to drink it, to enjoy it. You don't need to hold in certain glassware you feel uncomfortable. You don't need to feel, oh, this looks girly or this looks manly, or like it just everything is really consistent and simple, so everybody can enjoy it. So
Well,
that's the concept.
I would impose that simple final step, right? Getting it to the guest, pulling it off the tap and handing it to them. That's the simple, but it's still equally as complex and thoughtful, everything you're doing up in the front room, as all the things you're doing in the back room. It's just sort of they don't get to see behind the curtain.
Yeah, a lot of work goes in before it goes into the keg.
Yeah, a lot of front loading. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. One thing I want to touch on with you guys is it looks to me like you're kind of starting to put together some sort of educational platform that you want to share with F&B and maybe everybody. You want to touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, we have this plan for a long time since we opened DCP. We just really because that's how we used to do it when we in Asia, and how we pre-COVID as well. Pre-COVID, people usually get together, try to learn things, try to be nerd together, try to like figure out some technical problem with the drinks, or sometimes we talk about the bigger issue about the industry, and we just really miss that. We miss the tightness of the community, and then we all put in some opinion together and try to make things better, no matter it's service, no matter it's drink, no matter the concept, no matter it's a bigger picture thing, the problem we are facing as a whole in its industry. We just really hope we can create a platform or offer a space to host that. We were thinking to do this maybe once every season at different places, so we can also have a couple of guest speakers come to talk about whatever the theme we come up for that time, and then follow up with a small like gathering cocktail happy hour party, just for everybody to mingle. Because I think in New York our community is not tight. It's just because we have a really big community. The community in New York is just bigger than a lot of different cities. So I think we also really hope we have this kind of platform and opportunity for gather everybody together, and we talk about something, and then we all like try to understand each other more as well. Yeah, basically. So that's just something. Honestly, it's a long shot. We slowly try to like pitch in the idea and then organize this. So we take our time, but hopefully that's something we can achieve in the near future for sure. Yeah.
I mean, it sounds outstanding. There are other organizations that do those sorts of things, but I feel like maybe they don't cater to the right sort of mindset in a lot of ways. I don't want to call anybody out, but I think everybody knows what I'm talking about.
Especially, I want to say, because after COVID, a lot of things changed. The thing we have learned before COVID, and the thing how can we apply that after COVID is very different. Even like kitchen system, hiring kitchen, everything. So for us, it's more like we want to share our experience and also learn from other people how you deal with this problem, and if there's something happen again or down the road, how can we do it better. We even do our own internal, almost small tales. We do like retreat for our employees, for our staff. So in the retreat, we also talk about what's our vision as a company, what is marketing, and how marketing apply to Double Chicken Please, and what is event design, and how event design apply to Double Chicken Please. What's the cocktail making? All these things we want to share with our team member. To join a bar, a team, you can be a host, you can be a bartender, you can be a server, you can be a runner. But if you want, you can be everything. Because that's how me and Faye grew up. Start from the bottom and learn everything. And now we run the place, own the bar. And we do think if we can do it, everybody can do it. Especially we're 2 kids from Taiwan. At the beginning, we don't even speak English. And now we are handling a team, speak 6 different languages, try to make things work. It's difficult, but we stick with it. We're still doing it. And we just feel like maybe there's a thing we can, we want to learn from everybody. Like I constantly go out, during Best 50, I asked so many questions to Jordy's, the GM of Katana Kitten. I said, how did you guys do it? Like what's the program you guys have? Like, I'm just so curious and want to know and want to grow and want to do better.
Well, and then look, you eclipsed them, right? You got number 1, and they were number 3 this year, right? So I guess Jordan gave you too much intel.
Well, it's a very different style, but
yeah,
just
of course. Yeah. But that's great, and that's I think that you're definitely right. New York City being as large as it is, the community is. We all know each other. We know of each other, but I don't think we know each other well. And I think that trying to get a regular gathering together of like-minded people is a great idea. I've been doing something like that since the pandemic as well. At Amore, since we grew into the larger space, every 2 months or so, we have an educational event where we invite all bartenders to come and hang out with us. And we usually get maybe some pizza, Faye. And we'll have someone there to do an educational component for us, and then we can powwow and hang out together afterwards. And it's been pretty successful so far. We usually get around 40 to 45 people to come. So love to fold you guys into that group as well, or be a part of your group when it formulates itself. So I'm all for it. Education is the key to, I think, literally everything that we as humans do. The more education we can get about whatever it is we're passionate about, the better. So I'm excited to hear and see that you guys are spearheading something, and I'll champion it as much as I can.
Thank you.
I'm starving looking at this menu. No, I'm seriously, like, I was just thinking about, we don't need to drink alcohol, but we need to eat. So like, it's another kind of like interesting kind of like, I don't know, there's something enticing about the food inspired menu, but it is making me want to eat a lot of food and also get drunk. I'll just be honest.
Yeah.
Why not both?
I like getting drunk.
This is like the genesis, or the kind of like evolution of the Jello shot. Like we started with edible Jello shots, and now it's like we've taken it to the other end of the spectrum with these cocktails like Double Chicken Please.
As we kind of wrap up, Faye or Jen, either one or both of you, have you had any failures? Is the wrong word. Have you had any ones that didn't go the way you wanted them to go? Have you had any ones that made it to the menu and were surely either misunderstood or just not ordered by the public? What ones could you point out that kind of didn't make it?
I think during the R&D process, we definitely have a lot of drinks that didn't make it on the menu. Yeah, we try many drinks before. Way before DCP opened, we had I live in downtown, has this like very tiny New York apartment, as everybody knows, and then we just do all the R&Ds in a little kitchen. Also, Gian's apartment too. It's like very tiny kitchen, and we're just trying to do all the R&D, anything that we're doing right now, like a fat washing or milk washing and stuff like that. So we definitely have a lot of drinks that didn't make it to menu, or we will wanted to, finish one day. You just maybe we could stuck at some point, and then we maybe try some other drinks, and I think that there was one we tried to make before. I think it was the Vietnamese pho. The pho
Sure.
noodle, yeah. Like me and Jim, we love the dish. We love pho so much. Like we can have it like, I don't know, maybe 3 times or 4 times a week, no problem. Yeah, so we definitely wanted to try to make something that we like into a drink. Yeah, I think that was like R&D for a bit, and then we kind of stopped at some point. Yeah, maybe in the future you will hop on a menu. We don't know. Yeah.
Oh, I feel you on that so hard. It's so you get those white whales sometimes where you're like, oh, I really want to make these flavors into this format, and you just make yourself crazy for years. But when you inevitably crack the code, and I'm sure the two of you will, it's such a satisfying experience.
Magic.
You're like, where's my Nobel Prize? I've done it.
Yeah, for the front drink, tap drink, we used to have this drink. It's one of my favorite. It's almost like a michelada, like ojo rojo, like a clamato. We clarify the clamato with yuzu, with mezcal, with a little bit touch absinthe. And for me, I'm not a drinker. I cannot drink alcohol, but I just really love the flavor. I like that savoriness, that refreshing, that's kind of spicy from a jalapeno. But somehow it doesn't sell. It's just like, it broke my heart. It's just like, why? Why people doesn't like it? I was like so confused. But I said, this is one of the best drink ever I have ever created. And then why does it sell? But it is the nature, I guess. It's just always like that. It's hit or miss.
It could also just be, frankly, timing. Pull it off the menu, bring it back in a different season, maybe change the name slightly. There's all kinds of factors, I think, that fold in.
For sure.
But the R&D is, for me, and I assume for you and for all of us, the R&D is oftentimes frustrating, but it also yields the best rewards. Nothing cool is easy. If it was very difficult for you to do, then it probably is cool, right?
That's true.
Man, it just reminds me of this. We had this shrimp paste curry cocktail at Grand Army about like 5 years ago or 6 years ago.
Nice.
And it was so awesome. But it was so weird for a lot of people. So like,
right.
once you had it, you were like, oh,
I get it.
This is okay. I get it now. But it was like, it was like the hardest thing to make. There was a lot of prep involved, and it was incredible. But you know what? After Double Chicken Please winning the best bar in North America, maybe it's time to bring that cocktail back.
That's right.
Because maybe it's time now for it.
That's the theme for Grand Army's next menu is seafood, shrimp paste, all shrimp paste cocktails.
Shrimp paste, yeah.
That reminds me. We used to have this drink. We wanted to put on menu. We actually do a test run in Asia, and everybody like it. But when we did a test run in US, it's like everybody's so that drink contains this ingredients called Southern Ears egg. Have you heard it before?
Century egg.
Thousand-year egg, yeah.
Century egg, like dark
Century egg.
Century egg. Yeah, and then that just like if you don't really like that kind of food, you would straight think that's so fishy. Like
Right.
smells fishy, tastes fishy, and it's just weird to a lot of people here. So we had to remove from the menu because it's too challenging.
Oh man, but now I want to try that too. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to get off the air so I can book a flight to New York.
Yeah.
Please do. We'd love to host you.
Oh,
Get here in time for lunch.
Absolutely. I just want to say thanks again for being on the show today. I know you're busy people. I know that you're probably have a lot of other interview requests coming through, especially after winning this awesome award. So thank you again for taking the time to be here with us today. And again, congratulations. What a cool thing to do, like to have happen. It's like, it's where do you go from here? Where do you go from number one with 50 best? I think you just open up another, it's like, it's time to open up another one, next concept.
Double chicken, please.
Double chicken, please.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for having us. Thank you, Greg. Thank you, Sother. Thank you, Damon. Just hope to see you guys at Double Chicken Please again soon. And yeah, thank you for having us again. And hopefully we can do a lot of fun things together in the future.
Yeah, we're definitely
Heck
gonna. For sure.
Absolutely. Well, that's it for the Speakeasy this week. Everyone go check out Double Chicken Please, number one bar in North America. That's all I'm going to say about that. Definitely go check it out. And, I'm glad to be back in the swing of things. I had a great honeymoon vacation, but I'm glad to see you guys. Glad to be back in the studio with you. And I know that we've got some new and exciting stuff coming up, like today's show and for the summer season. So I'm really excited to be here. And Greg, I think you had some news about the Speakeasy as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So speaking of cool things that are coming up in the future, we are launching, actually, as of airtime, we have launched our new Speakeasy Patreon. So this is us just putting out a little tip jar on the bar in front of everybody. We're super happy to keep doing this show to everybody for free. I love doing it. I think of it as a little public service that I can do in my otherwise very profligate lifestyle. And really, really happy that this is able to go out to everybody and just, provide a little enjoyment for people with no price tag attached. But we figured, why not put out a little tip jar and give people a little bit of extra fun stuff. So if you join our Patreon, we have a couple different tiers, but they all get you all the same fun perks. They get you 30 extra minutes of content with each one of our guests. And at every month, you're going to get a newsletter that's not only going to have a little sort of where are they now section about the guests that we have coming on in that past month, but they're also going to have recipes inspired by what some of our guests are talking about. And I'm personally already really excited to see what we're going to come up with after talking with Faye and GN here today. So if you want to see what that is, subscribe to our Patreon and you'll get that delivered to your inbox in early June.
Outstanding.
Cool. Right on. Thanks for setting that up, Greg.
Yeah, no problem. And be sure to tune in next week as well when we have Aaron Gregory Smith from the national chapter of the USBG on to talk about some really interesting initiatives that they have going on, including trying to crack the code of figuring out how to give people good and adequate healthcare in the spirits industry. So something that I get up on a soapbox about a lot. So I'm excited to hear what they've got going on and what they're cooking up over there.
Very cool. All right. Well, that's it for the Speakeasy this week. Check out our Patreon. Check out Double Chicken, please. And until next week, cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you.
So you don't shun the devil with
The Speakeasy is powered by Simplecast. Thanks for listening to Heritage Radio Network, food and drink radio supported by you. Keep in touch at heritageradionetwork.org/subscribe.
Hey there, I'm Lee Ullman here with some big news from the National Young Farmers Coalition. We're partnering with Heritage Radio Network on a special season of The Farm Report. It's all about what's happening with the Farm Bill and how it impacts farmers and eaters.
I am growing diversified vegetables on land that's been in our family for 150 years.
And so with the pandemic, gentrification, property values going up, we had to sell the land and we lost it.
Join us as we uncover the untold stories behind this massive piece of legislation that shapes how we grow our food, what we eat, and so much more.
The problems we have had, those are things that come from earlier Farm Bill and USDA policy, right? Like Earl Butts, get big or get out.
It's my responsibility to know not only what I'm eating, but then like how that all came to be. And realize wow, this piece of legislation, all this money, it's technically something that I support as a taxpayer.
While Congress debates the next Farm Bill, this is not just an invitation to listen. It's a call to action. Be part of the conversation. Subscribe to the Farm Report on Heritage Radio Network, wherever you listen to podcasts.